developments that took place in the Gupta period. Okay, so firstly we'll go on the socio-cultural development, and then we'll discuss about the science and technological development. Now if you see, if the question arises in the mains exam as well as the preliminary examination, this dimension becomes quite important with respect to your UPSC examination. Why? Because see friends, many a times UPSC mains examination, okay, expects the students to take all the necessary inputs from the referral material or from the content or the study material, and then need to gauge the comparison with the present tense. Okay, so this is the expectation of the UPSC examination, that you should learn from the history and apply the same in the future period. Okay, if you are able to do this, history is your cup of tea. Okay, like just now we'll start off the socio-cultural development. Now just see the significance of this topic. Okay, again I'm repeating the same PYQs, please do not get bored. Okay, why? Because this has the different kind of dimensions. Now each PYQ would be not having the same dynasties. Okay, they would be having the dynasties from the different periods. Okay, like for examples, we saw the Kakatiya, but we have not yet seen the Yadavas, Gadwalas and Hoysalas. We would be seeing. Okay, so again this question marks the upcoming discussion. Okay, now with reference to the period of Gupta dynasty in ancient India, the towns of Gantashala, Kaduna and the Chol were known as. Okay, we are coming on this discussion. Okay, after this, with reference to the history of the ancient India, we need to analyze which of the statement is correct. Okay, so here again we need to see what were the essential policies and the systems that were carried out in the society. Okay, same, the contemporaries of the Gupta period or the Harshavardhana period. Oh, by the way, now when we are discussing about the history or the historical events, right, from the 600 BC to 600 AD, okay, you would be also seeing that after the post-Gupta or during the post-Gupta, we would be seeing Harshavardhana period also, and at the south, the Sangam period also. Okay, now if you see, the expansion of the Gupta period at the initial phase, what was majorly focused on the North Indian region. Okay, now in yesterday's session I have talked about the Madhya Desa. Okay, how Madhya Desa was contributing in the agricultural revenue. Okay, after that the western the remains of the western Kshatraps, okay, how it was growing the trade values of the Gupta empire. And after that we have seen that in the later Gupta period or at the later rulers, okay, we'll see that the connection with the Nepal will get declined and the connection with the Deccan Peninsular region will be increasing, especially with respect to the eastern coast. Why? Because eastern coast was a dominant player in the collection of the revenue due to the increase of the trade ties with other countries. Now if you see the trade ties of the Gupta empire with the other countries, so notably you must know that we had connection during the Gupta period, we had connection with the from the West India to East Africa, okay. After that, western side of Southeast Asian nations, okay. After that, we had also a good trade ties with the China, okay, present Ukraine region, present Central Asia and the Ukraine region, okay. So you can analyze majorly they had focused on the trade and activities, like with the help of Uttarpath and with the help of the Purva Dakshin Path. Okay, now this trade route, Okay, this trade route, which was evident during the Mauryan period, would be absent during the Gupta period. And that is why you will see that there is very less activity over here. It's not that it was totally absent, but yes, there were very minimal activities, minimal trade activities during the Gupta period at the western coast. Of course, from the Gujarat port was quite active, but if we consider the Kerala, Kochi and the Mumbai port, okay, the trade activities were very minimal, okay, or they were not majorly being carried out by the states, but by the individuals only, or the private players only. Okay, so this is the difference between the Mauryan period and the Gupta period, which is quite evident due to the artifacts and the inscription which we get from the different sources. Okay, now when we talk about the society, I have said that the Gupta period will be majorly focusing upon the revivalism of the Brahmanist theories and the culture. Okay, like they would be majorly focusing upon the constructing of the religious text, and that too in the Sanskrit language. And that is why the Sanskrit language, which was only friendly for the Brahmin sect, okay, like for we in the recent lectures, okay, we had discussed about the Varna system, right? If you remember the Varna system, okay, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Okay, so these Brahmins were very friendly with the Sanskrit language. Okay, this Sanskrit language. Okay, now this Sanskrit language, okay, was quite friendly for the Brahmins, and that is why they will see that to hold the dominance over the society, they would be purposely writing the text in the Sanskrit language. Why? Because Sanskrit was such a language which was only, accessible through the gurukuls, through the schools and the universities. And you know very well that the Shudras and the Vaishyas had very limited accessibility with all those gurukuls and the schools. Okay, so that is why you will see that the Sanskrit was only friendly for the upper strata of the society or the upward society. Okay, so here you will see that the religious texts that were being authored by the Brahmin people were only read by the Brahmin people, and they were recited to only Kshatriya people or the sons and the daughters of the Kshatriyas in the Gurukul system, or in the university level. Like in the map you have seen the Taxila University. Now during Gupta period we would be also seeing the Nalanda University. Okay, so here this university was being carrying the Gurukul system. Now the Gurukul was being established at the private ownership also and at the state ownership also. Now the Nalanda and Taxila were owned by the state. Okay, so here all this knowledge or all the necessary studies were being preached by or being taught by the Brahmin sect only, and here the admissions were majorly promoted for the Kshatriya rulers only, or the sons and the daughters of Kshatriya rulers only, or the Kshatriya sect people only. Okay, so here you will find that although the trade is flourishing, agriculture is flourishing, especially in the Madhya Desha, okay, there is an advancement in the literature in the form of Sanskritization, okay, there is an evolution of the science and technology as well, okay. Intellectual achievements are also high. Why? Because we have two kind of university, Taxila and Nalanda, okay. Taxila and Nalanda. Nalanda at Bihar and Taxila at the Hindu Kush region, okay, or especially the Indo-Afghan region. Okay, Indo-Afghan region. So here we'll see that there were intellectual achievements during the Gupta period. Okay, but here the major challenge or the major limitation of the Gupta period is that as and when the Brahmanical sect will be getting stronger and stronger, they would be trying to dominate the lower strata of the society. Okay, here they would be considered as an untouchables. Here they would be considered, the lower strata of the people would be considered as an impure by the higher classes, and that is why we'll see that there is an emergence of, okay, untouchability. There is an emergence of the untouchability, and due to this we'll see dheere dheere it would be converting, the society would be converting into the rigid society, okay, where The untouchables won't be allowed to enter the mandirs or the temples. The untouchables won't be allowed to get in communication with the upper strata of the society. The untouchables won't be allowed to enter into the school premises, and they would be given very, very minimal or low status or the low prestige work. Okay, now what was it? What was the actual scenario we would be having in discussion? Okay, so here the Brahmanism and the Hinduism flourished, but basically we'll see that the Jainism and the Buddhism would be facing n number of challenges during this Gupta period. Now, although we find the evidences of the Hinduism and the Buddhism during the Gupta period through some of the sculptures and the artifacts, but see, as and when the Brahmins will be going stronger at the later stage of the Gupta period, you will see that they would be discarding the Buddhist values. Okay, of course, not publicly, but somewhat internally at a slow, pace. Okay, like for example, see, now the Buddhism, was silent on Hinduism. Okay, it was silent on Hinduistic activities. Okay, now there were some of the theories which they completely discarded, but as and when the time period follows, okay, the Hinduistic activities would be included in the Buddhist activity as well. And that is why we'll see that the Gupta rulers would be staying very tolerant towards the Buddhism, but yes, they would be majorly focusing upon the Brahmanism. Okay, why? Because Gupta were majorly the Brahmin people. Okay, now the status of the woman, would be also getting deteriorated, and the marginalized groups also declined. Now, why they declined? Let us study.